You're listening to the Soju Sessions, episode 68 on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. I'm your host, Crispy, also known as Crispy Wonton or simply just Anton. And on today's show, Bryan from the Soju Talk Nation, a Gochu Gang member, joins the show to discuss a pair of summer comebacks with Kep1er and LOONA, and to discuss his K-pop origin story. Turns out Bryan is a neighbor to myself in the Bay Area, so shout out to Bryan. And yeah, just a really cool guy. Really fun to have him on, and really just to kind of go in depth about the emotional resonance and kind of what it means to celebrate K-pop and celebrate summer. We are in the thick of things, guys. All these summer songs coming out. Kep1er and LOONA being kind of the standouts as far as the well-known names. And Bryan are really riding the momentum from Queendom 2. So just a really fun time. I am enjoying both of these albums. They are on loop on a playlist of mine. So yeah, just having the best time with all the music for this week. All right, let's get into it. Coming up, my chat with Bryan on Kep1er and LOONA, summer comebacks on the Soju Sessions. Joining Soju Sessions, a member of the Gochu Gang, someone who, is fairly new to me, but it seems like I'm just accumulating all my local friends. He's a neighbor to me in the Bay Area. The one and only Bryan joins the show this week. How's it going, Bryan?
Hello, Anton. So nice to be here. I'm so excited to be here, honestly, first time.
Yeah, no, amazing that you're here on the show. And so I was telling you kind of before we started recording kind of my process, and it's essentially going through the Gochu Gang list, seeing who I haven't talked to yet, and then going through the roles. So I saw that you had Kep1er as a role, and they are back with a brand new song. We got some summer bops this week, so a lot of fun things to talk about. But you are fairly new to this show, so we do want to get your origin story and how it all began. So, Bryan, what is your K-pop origin story? What were the first groups you listened to, and how'd you get into K-pop?
So, I was introduced to K-pop. It was way, way back in the year of 2009. So I have two different, origins. My first ever video that I watched, it was Lollipop by Big Bang and 21. And it was 21's debut track, essentially. It was how we got to know them. But my first ever exposure to K-pop, it was around a year earlier. My cousin was playing this really, really beautiful piece on the piano that I later discovered was Hadu Hadu by Big Bang. And I was like, oh, so beautiful. And yeah, so from there, my cousins showed me a few more videos, I found G, SNSD, Sorry, the classics, honestly. And then I really got really into it, I started watching some videos, and I could find on YouTube, Dailymotion, I found a few friends from high school through K-pop, and it was such a fun time for me. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's one of those. 2009, right? So that's back in the day.
That's in middle Gen 2.
Yeah. Well, take me through that process of kind of finding K-pop from back then, and then kind of evolving with it as you were getting older and kind of growing up through the different eras of the internet. Because K-pop and the internet, the histories coincide. They align pretty well with kind of the evolution of information and how we get new media and new forms of entertainment. How was that for you? Kind of paralleling both of those journeys.
That's so interesting, honestly. I'm actually not really sure how to answer that question, honestly. I really don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Well, for me, it was one of those cases where YouTube was still very new, right? So I always go back to this as far as Sonia Shide, Girls' Generation, and at the tail end of college, that music video G getting passed around, and I was just so confused, like, what is this amazing piece of art? It's like I see Asian people in a music video. This is K-pop, amazing. I watch a lot of anime. This seems very familiar, but at the same time very different, right? So for me, I think it was a nice entry point into being exposed to culture that at least was adjacent to me, because 2009 2010, we lived through it, but at that point there wasn't so much accessibility to Asian culture in media, right? So I think for me it was kind of just even if I wasn't super aware of it at the time, finding a moment of comfort in that there are Asian people in music and being portrayed in a very positive light as opposed to kind of the stereotypes that we grew up with. So I adored it. It was always something in the back of my mind. It was something I was aware of. It wasn't until like my friends in the mid 2010s that were super into it. So I had a friend who was a coworker, and she was like the biggest Big Bang fan like ever, right? So she gave me all the music, and then she was a huge 21 fan. So that's how it kind of evolved and grew for me. How was the 2010s for you as far as music and kind of seeing Gen 2 K-pop and then kind of slowly evolve into Gen 3?
Honestly, it was actually... I will say that I think for me, I went into Gen 2 K-pop just because I wasn't really loving American pop at the time, honestly. And like I loved sort of like... I feel like it was very, very energetic, very, very catchy music, honestly, that really like drew me in. And then Gen 3, actually, that part of K-pop, I actually kind of stepped away from. I think around 2016, I was in college around then, and so I was listening to a lot more of the music that my college friends was listening to. So I don't think I was really there for too much of that, honestly. So I think around the tail end of we started seeing 2NE1 and SNSD, live their life and go to do other things. I think I kind of stepped away from that a little bit, but I got back into it about 2020 though, or 2021.
What was that process getting back into K-pop at a very different period in kind of the world in 2020? 2019, K-pop looked a certain kind of way where it looked like there was a lot of momentum for concerts, world tours, accessibility to just people. And then the world kind of closed kind of halfway through 2020. Just take me through that process of being a K-pop fan in 2020 and kind of evolving and growing with K-pop at that point.
I think there was such a shift between when I was in K-pop and then K-pop now, because I do feel like it is just because of how YouTube has become sort of the center of all the media that we see on the internet. I think, and also how available Korean music has become for a lot of people. Because I do think I think back in 2019, we had BTS and Halsey's Boy With Love, and it was really sort of the beginning of a lot of general Western audiences seeing Korean music, honestly, So for me, I came back into K-pop really seeing a lot of people. They knew what it was, and I think it was very, very a little weirder back then to know it, because it was kind of a bit fringe, and now it's so much more, so much more accepted, which is really cool.
Have you connected or bonded over K-pop with new friends or new people in your life at this point in kind of the modern transition into I guess media and Western availability, like you said, because it does feel like K-pop is very much a household commodity in a lot of ways in the United States, at least in California on the West Coast. Most people know what K-pop is. People at my work talk about K-pop all the time. Well, not all the time, but if I bring it up, it's yeah, we know what it is. We know BTS. Have you made any connections or friendships through K-pop in kind of your adult life recently?
I've made a few, honestly. So I think one of them was my cousin's friend actually is the one that helps me get tickets for concerts. So I got the Twice ticket through her, and then she got me this really nice ticket for 17 coming up in August. I think, but like most of like my friends or like friends, I guess, or like people I talk about K-pop with in general, they do come from the community here at like Soju Talk. Honestly, just because like I don't know, I haven't really. My friends from high school, I think we've sort of grown apart. We don't talk too much, as much, which is kind of normal. Friendships kind of grow a little bit. So like I didn't really have too much of a community for K-pop for me personally until I sort of came here and I was like, oh shit, there's like a lot of people here that like they love what I love and it's so cool to talk about it.
Well, let's get into that. So, how did you find Soju Talk? What was kind of your first introduction into the friendly conversations of Doug Warren and Anita on the internet, and then how did that kind of grow your K-pop fandom?
So I got into it. It was like August of last year. I found a TikTok video where I think Warren was talking about like the meaning behind Brave Girl's Chimabara, talking about like the swinging, like the skirt in the wind, and I was like, wow, this guy's like, this is such a cool piece of information about like a group that I really love and a song I really like, and I was like, let's check them out. So like I think the episode that I got into, it was the Stray Kids Thunderous episode, and I was like, these guys are so fun to listen to, honestly. It brought me back to like, me being in high school and like talking about K-pop with my friends, and like talking about like the drama, the songs, the people, the music. Like it was really nice. And I feel like generally speaking, like K-pop is such a conversation piece. It's so like there's a lot to talk about, because like I think you obviously talk about the music, talk about like the people in the group, but you also like talk about like this like the music in relation to like the trajectory of the group and the concepts and stuff like that, which is a little bit of a different conversation than what we have in Western music, for me at least.
That's beautiful. Yeah, shout out to Therese running the TikTok account, Soju Talk
Yes.
fan. Yeah, she's been on that for over a year now. So shout out to her for exposing so many people to the main show and getting fans like yourself onto Discord, just hanging out with us. No, I love what you said about the how and the why of K-pop, right? Because there is just a lot of things we can talk about with regards to music, whether it's the composition, whether it's the social and emotional aspect of it, whether it's the people. So there is just a myriad of ways to approach any type of conversation with regards to fandom and music in general. But with K-pop specifically, we do get into a more personal community connection with the things that we enjoy, the entertainment that we consume. So for me, that's what's always been the most important part of kind of Soju Talk and the crew specifically, and how they enjoy K-pop, right? They like to dig into the how something is made, kind of the process, right? But then also the why it's important to them. I think that to me is just kind of uplifting in a time when it's very easy to kind of fall down rabbit holes of various places on the internet where it may not be as clear as to the purpose as to why someone is talking about whatever it is that they love or claiming to love in some ways. So take me to getting into Discord. What was that experience like for you, kind of finding a community of people that you could communicate with immediately? I think for a lot of people, Discord was initially kind of a gaming space, but then as it's evolved, as the pandemic has kind of forced people on the internet, to me, I'm very adept at using Slack, but then Discord just like, this is Slack, but more fun. So I just super enjoyed it in that sense. How was it for you, kind of being part of the community here on Discord?
Yeah. I mean, it's been very, very fun, honestly. Like I came into the podcast around the same time like Girls Planet was coming on. So like I think there was a lot of conversation already happening on that channel talking about like, oh, like how this person did, or like, ooh, the no. So like I already was able to like find myself like amongst a very, very vibrant group of people having like a really cool conversation about performances and about like sort of like the meta of TV shows involving idols in Korea, So like that was like, it was so much fun, and like already like so quite easy to just like come in. Oh my God, we're talking about it. Like, let's join. You know?
There's an inclusiveness to the type of conversation you have about the things that you like in K-pop. Wow, I lost my train of thought for a hot second. Specifically with the Girls Planet, I think the coverage from the main show was excellent. Talking about it every week. I fell in love with the show as well. But let me ask you: did you have any favorites that didn't make Kep1er?
Oh my God, yeah. I will say, Bora, honestly, I wish that she would have made the group, honestly, Like, I love Chaehyun, I love Younghoon, honestly. They're both great singers. Bora's the best. Like, Bora was hands down best singer on the show. I wish she would have made it, honestly. And then I think one other person, shout out to Lee Man. So she was in Chaehyun's cell in like the first round. I thought she was honestly so gorgeous, so cool to like watch perform, honestly. So like she was really like I wish she would have gone a little farther,
That's
but,
a
like,
deep cut right there, man. That's like episode 2, 3. No, I think we all grew an attachment to Bora, with kind of her being
Yes.
the mom of all of the members, of all the people on the show. I guess it's one of those where Bora and Jiyoon
Jiyoon. Oh, Jiyoon.
and
Oh,
May,
no.
the Cherry Bullet Trio,
Oh.
right? It's one of those where it's kind of hard to reconcile the fact that they are still in a very active group in Cherry Bullet, and a lot of
Wait,
their story.
Jiwoon?
G1.
Jiwoon.
Yes,
Yeah. Also, Jiyoon's the Micey girl,
yes,
who I was like, oh, also like could have been such a cool singer if only she like hit the note.
yes. The mice. Oh, she was great too. Yeah, she had a great
She was
story.
really good.
That was really unfortunate because she did get a lot of screen time, and I felt like her character was very much developed within the show. But
Absolutely.
that moment was not. It was also very highlighted that the moment wasn't executed to the fullest, right? But the Cherry Bullet Girls, they did go on and to have a comeback and everything, so it is kind of unfortunate that they didn't make the team. But at the same time, they got a lot of exposure, and I think they grew a lot of fans afterwards, right? I'd like to shout out the China line that it wasn't meant to be. With let's start with Wonja, the tall, lanky, very attractive supermodel, Yaning,
Fuyaning, yes.
Eugene's best friend. That's just all. Let that rest. They are best friends. They are great friends. So she did talk about it a little bit later, that the producers were telling her, say something that we can make a moment in that first episode, right? So of course she was kind of directed in that way, and then the edit was on point to make her kind of be the villain. But I think ultimately for me, I can kind of step back and realize like that was what was happening. I still loved her. I still love her today. I think she is gorgeous, very talented, and hopefully she is just doing successful things in China. I do want to throw.
Ultimately, it's just part of TV production, honestly. There has to be some kind of drama.
Yeah, it's a reality show, right? It is all fairly contrived in a lot of ways. But I do want to throw this at you, Surichi. Before I say any more, tell me what you feel. Tell me what you think about Surichi.
I just, I follow her Instagram. I buy her music. I do what I can to support her nowadays, honestly. But like, I feel like, oh, what a talented person, honestly. She got so close her first time on either on Produce Camp or Chuang, I think. And then she came again and like, oh, she did so good to hear to you, honestly. I wish she would. I really wish here's the thing, Kep1er. I love the lineup so much. I think every person there deserved to be there. Like, full stop. That's a fact. But like, I would have loved to see just like Suruchi or like another secret member, like in the group.
Yeah. My feelings are no secret on the server. I am the biggest Surichi fan you could find anywhere. I listened to throughout the show. I was listening to all her old songs. all her old Chinese songs. I was just like, give me all of this. I want it. And then she released a few songs after the show. It's like, I'm going to listen to all of these. I think she's incredibly talented, like you said. Great dancer, great personality, great charisma, and all that stuff. Everything that you want from an idol, right? But I think just ultimately the things didn't align. Let's just put it that way. And like you said, there's only 9 spots, and it is a public vote. So it's just how it all played out. So on the one hand, sad that she's not there. On the other, I will do my best to at least just follow her career and see where it goes from there. But yeah, this turned into a Girls Planet, therapy session. Thank you so much, Bryan. This is great.
Honestly.
Yeah. All right.
It was
go ahead.
the very, very first show I watched for like survival shows, honestly. So like amazing,
Nice. Yeah, no, it's a fun experience, especially when you get a community to get behind it and then kind of explore it together and kind of go through the ups and downs, ebbs and flows, emotional swings as a collective. So I think all of that kind of helps with the experience, right? Yeah. The group that came out of Girls Planet 999, we have professional transitions here. Kep1er.
Kep1er, woo!
So we're doing a summer comeback special with Kep1er and LOONA. They both came back on the same day with 2 very summery songs. We're going to start with Kep1er with Up! Overall thoughts, feelings, initial takes. What did you think about Kep1er coming back with a summer song? It's very bright, very vibrant, and makes you feel like you want to be on the beach or at least lost at sea with Dayan
All of that.
and Hikaru. What are your thoughts, sir?
What a great song, honestly, and I feel like everything about this comeback was so amazing. I like the song, the chorus. What a fun chorus to listen to, honestly, like really good. And the music video also, what a fun music video. Like it was so bright, so colorful, and it felt like very youthful, which makes so much sense because everyone in this group is, they're quite young, So I was like, it was such a good comeback. As a quick note, there was a sort of for me a direction that I saw Kep1er going in Queendom, and I'm really, really happy that Chaehyun really is stepping into being a main vocalist for this group, honestly, because I thought her performance with LOONA with Don't Go by EXO so good, honestly, and then their comeback special was also her moment with that high note was so nice, I think and her ad-lib, I love a vocal moment, in any song, honestly. So it was really good in this song, honestly, without having to really be pushing it too much vocally, I think.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. All amazing things. Kind of building off of kind of the song quality itself, I think, and this is kind of a point that Warren has made in the past, where, and I want to build off of this too. So the word generic kind of brings a very emotional state from a lot of people, but I think it works here because what to me, what this is doing, it's taking us back to back in the day of 2019. Right? So what this song evokes to me is kind of the summer pop bubblegum that K-pop was headed in before all the experimentation, right? So immediately between the visuals and the song, the kind of brightness of the song, I felt Wiki Miki vibes. I felt Red Velvet Oompa Oompa vibes. And it's like, oh yes, remember when K-pop did this all the time? And now everyone wants to do some version of experimentation, which shout out to you for, moving forward into the future, into 2022. But sometimes a prototypical K-pop song, a stereotypical K-pop song kind of just works for the moment. And I think with Kep1er, to me, they needed something that they could refine, at least a sound and a concept that is pretty accessible and that all the members could kind of shine in their own way. So like you said, I think Jaehyun's vocals are excellent. I think Yeso and Youngwon do a really nice job of, keeping things fun and light and kind of spunky, the spunky energy of teenagers, all very youthful. My favorite member that stands out here, and I think she got a big bump from Queendom 2, is Hikaru, Hika-chan.
Very.
Right. So there was a bit of a conversation on the show between Doug and Warren about Hikaru's rapping, where Doug didn't particularly like the talk rapping, but for Warren it worked, and Warren actually does not prefer like the aggressive, over the top rapping that she did on the show. I think the middle ground for me here is that Hikaru is getting parts where she is now rapping, because in Warada she had a very short section combined with Diane's section, and then she got kind of lost in it. Where for me here, I feel like she's getting a lot more front and center moments, whether it's through her rapping, whether that's through kind of the visual storytelling. Being lost at sea with Diane. I feel like Diane and her are a great pair, by the way. And then the dancing moment. So Anita did touch on it. I wrote that down as a note. That's like, yes, this is the dance. This is the main dancer. She got it. Very playful, fun choreography with a lot of intricate foot movement, right? Steps, however you want to phrase that. But all, very fitting with the concept of like brightness. Man, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this song. Far more than I expected. So I think this was like a great like entry point to summertime of like, yes, we're here, we're exploring. Kind of throwing it back to you, what are your thoughts about kind of the fun fantasy elements of the music video? So, it is very bright, it is very colorful, but to me, it feels like they did a nice job balancing the different sets and locations. How did you feel like that all played out with the different members?
I mean, honestly, I don't think I can really like talk too at length about that personally. I just I love the video, honestly. And like I love a bright concept, and I love like a really good music video to match. I think the space thing with Diane a little bit, like you can kind of tell she was kind of flailing around a little bit, but like we got it, and it was such a cool sort of integration of like the space theme for Kep1er, but like summer camp at the same time. And it was like a nod to like, hey, we're like a reference to space, but like summer, it's camp still,
Camp is the perfect word in so many ways, right? Where it's they're at camp, like literally, and it's campy. I think everything from the scrapbook art that the music video opens with, and the evoking the Y2K aspect of kids during summertime, the end of the school year, cut up your scrapbooks, collages, right? And then even kind of the lawn furniture and just how campy and cheesy all of that kind of look. It's kind of not in a mean way, but it has like the cheap element. It's like the thrift shop element. It's like, yeah, this is kind of stuff your parents just put out for you to play on the lawn.
This is like what you make in arts and crafts, kind of.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, arts and crafts. Yeah. And it matches completely with the fact that they are children. They're teenagers. A lot of them are teenagers. They're kids, and they're having fun during summertime, which honestly, just it's good. Good energy, right? Good energy. Yes. With regards to the song, I love the pace of the song. How I do my notes is I listen to the song, I do my notes well in advance, and then I watch the show to see what Warren and Doug and Anita talk about. And I feel like I matched with so much of what Warren said on the show as far as the way that they characterize themselves within the song, the pacing of the song, and how it all plays with the energy, right? How it's a consistent energy and it kind of pushes you forward. Kind of going off of that, how did that make you feel? Well, if you could kind of summarize summertime and this song, what are some of the parts of the song that make you feel like it's summertime?
Honestly, I'm just gonna go back to that chorus. It's so lively. It makes me. It really does like lift the energy in the song for me. Honestly, it's so dancey. Honestly, and I was like, that's like that really is like this, like the summer feeling for me, honestly, in this song.
Yeah, 100%. I do like the blend of a lot of different genres. So I think this is a very K-pop trope thing where they blend a bunch of stuff into a blender and hope it comes out well. In this case, I feel like it did. So there's some elements of trap, some elements of pop, some EDM, some future bass, and it all kind of is pulled together by this bass line where it's just very high energy and fun and bright, where all of that I feel like rests on the vocal prowess of Chaehyun, Yeso, and Youngun. So I'm just a big fan. So, yeah.
And I do think it was so smart to like sample Sister Shake That for this song, honestly, you know? Because like that song has such a good resurgence on Queendom. Because like LOONA did it so well, everyone fell back in love with that song, honestly. And then like to bring it back to this song and to have like that sort of iconic summer like tune in the song was such a smart decision for me.
Yeah, it does feel like Hyorin definitely left her mark on all the members that she was with during that show. So yeah, just summer vibes. I'm here for all the summer vibes.
K-pop summer is one of my favorite like times of K-pop, honestly. You know.
Yeah. So this coincided with the mini album. I think it's pronounced DOUBLAST. Double Blast? Double Blast, right? It's spelled kind of funky. Double Blast. There are 5 tracks on it. So, we're not going to do a full mini album discussion, but what are your favorite songs of the mini album, and how did this kind of keep you in the mood of summertime? What are the different summer feelings and settings that this album kind of brought you through?
I will say, like, the song, first of all, I think Up is the best song on this mini album for me personally. I think the second for me is Le Voyage. Like for me, like I like sort of like the wistfulness of it, honestly. Like it feels a little bit to me like it's like you have the energy of like summer, like being out with your friends, but you also have like the cool like it's like you're heading out to like the beach at night with your friends and like having like a fun like chill time. Like that kind of or like I think what they were trying to give was like stargazing at night in summer possibly, and like I was like, oh, it is such a beautiful song, honestly. And I mean like just what a good album overall, but like I would say like for me like Up and Le Voyage, I kept like repeating those like for the past 2 days.
This is a beautiful image to kind of place yourself with regards to like stargazing and looking out into the summer night. I definitely felt a lot of that, especially with kind of the harmonizing of the vocals of the song. It does kind of feel like they're kind of pushing some of the vocal quality here. Just like, hey, like we're here. We got some singers in this group, not just all dancers and amazing performers. But I get that feel as well, where it's a very summer nights kind of song. The lyric that the song kind of rests on is the translation is "A galaxy for the two of us, you're my voyage," and I felt like it's a very puppy love, summertime love. Young kids kind of discovering one another and saying, "Hey, like let's just hang out at night and explore and discover things and just be out and just do." Go wherever the universe and the galaxy takes us kind of thing. And I feel like that's all kind of summarized really well with the sweet melody of the song. So yeah, no, just really fun transition song from a very high energy song that Up was to a very, wistful. Was that the word? I forget what word.
Wistful, very mellow.
Wistful, mellow. Yeah. Yeah, no, great song.
Yes.
I really like the tension. It's I think it's my favorite B-side. It's got again, this kind of goes back into the 2019 retro. I'm going to call it 2019 retro because it's in that same vein, right? A little bit lower energy than Up, but I think it still plays into a lot of the same things that Red Velvet kind of refined over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, kind of being in that realm of kind of red. I feel like this song also highlights the vocals very well, especially in the chorus between Chaehyun, Yeso, Mashiro. Yujin has a lot of parts in the song, amazingly, and Youngun. So I do feel like this album is kind of showing us that Youngun and Yeso can also be part of that vocal line with Chaehyun, and I'm really kind of just enjoying that. Again, plays into the puppy love, very musically straightforward, but at the same time, it's fitting. They're kids. They're just enjoying summer. What did you think about this song?
I gotta be honest. Like I think I know that. Like I remember the chorus and I really liked it. And that's kind of all I really remember of the song, honestly. you know. It was good. Like, I can't tell you like what exactly I liked, but I can say that I liked it.
No worries. I mean, the chorus is very lovely, right? I would say like that's probably the sticking point for me. I think it was so like, emotionally evoking for me that's what kind of pushed it over as my favorite B-side in that sense. The last two tracks on the mini album, Good Night and Rewind, kind of do different things, right? So I think for me, Good Night is another like Summer Nights song, but it's that going into sunset, you know, like kind of going towards a carnival or like a night festival. And, you know, kind of find young love. There's just so much young love, like feelings in this album, where it's like very age appropriate, and it's just like, oh yeah, like they're really like putting me in that moment, like putting me in the nostalgia of where I was when I was a kid. What did you think about Good Night?
Good Night. It was a ballad style song, wasn't it? I believe, or was it? Was it not? I can't remember right now. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Again, Chaehyun, I think, is also very recognizable. I feel like her vocal is kind of the character of Kep1er, whether they're doing Girl Crush with Wareda or with this entire album, where I feel like she is kind of the thread that pulls the entire group through all of the summer warmth and emotion. So it's just a very fun song. Great work, Chaehyun.
For sure.
Yeah. And then we got Rewind, which is a chill down end cap kind of a song.
Yes.
You know, shout out to Bahye and Xiaoting. They have a moment in the song where they're kind of talking to fans, and it kind of makes it feel like a live show. Kind of incorporating kind of like music lounge feeling to it. It's kind of nice, right? It has that spontaneity to it. What did you think about this song being an end cap and having
those talking moments for me? Was it like, honestly, I was like, wow, this is, it really like brought me it. Yeah, I was like it. I felt like I was at a concert and they were talking to me, listening to this song. Honestly, it was so nice.
Yeah. It's a really nice way to end the album. I think it's just a very cool mellow, just like, hey, we're here. Thanks for supporting us and being on this journey. And it did feel very real, right? And I think it does play into a lot of the emotions of summertime, kind of the summer love feel. I feel like I repeated that phrase like a million times, but that's what this album feels to me. Just a very nice.
It's kind of like that thread with like throughout the album. It's like it's young summer love, which is like it's young love when you're not in school, which is so much fun.
yeah, without a care in the world, kind of thing. All right, let's move on now to LOONA with their mini album. It's a summer special with Flip That. It's accompanied by a music video. Very fantastical, very whimsical. They're on a train, the lilac train, apparently, says Doug. What did you think about transporting LOONA into all of these different worlds and opening up keys to doors? Opening up doors with keys. Wow, words are so hard.
I think we'll just start it off. I mean, LOONA is, I think, probably the most versatile girl group we have right now, honestly. I think their discography, it isn't like specifically like soft ballad or like girl crush stuff. Like, it's always like they're out trying new things, So like I thought this song was really, really beautiful. I did think though, like, just with sort of the lightness of the background of the song, it first listen was very springy over summery, but I think just kept listening to it, I was like, I can hear the summer in this one as well. It's like a different, like, I think when I think of summer, like I think of like I Swear, Sistar, or like Brave Girls Anything. So like I think of like this,
a little bit
like,
more punch, right?
Like it's a little bit louder, has some energy, and this is just like there's some summer feel in it. I can't really place what it is exactly, but like it's a gorgeous song though. Like, all in all,
there's a lightness to this song where I think the airiness of the vocals was definitely in mind when they were making the music video. So for me, it's kind of the full experience, right? Where if I'm just listening to the song, there may be some things I'm missing. It's a very beautiful song, like you said. I think there are some great elements to it, but I need to be kind of placed into summertime with it. So then watching the music video, seeing where they're at, they're in an electric forest. Come on. I love that imagery. Shout out to Electric Forest, the rave that's happening this week in Michigan. Shout out to Michigan and Doug, Warren and Anita going to college there. Sorry guys, I gotta throw in a rave thing here and there. You know me. Yeah, it's essentially in a forest, which is what this music video is, right? And it's just this amazing, beautiful imagery in real life. So that's how it's parallel to LOONA. I kind of like all the visual callbacks to a lot of different things, especially the very present butterflies throughout the entire music video.
Yes.
One, it's definitely an homage to Butterfly, but two, it's also very fitting, right? Because again, it's about this fantastical exploration of like this fantasy world, right? And I do feel like it does pair very well with the song. I do agree with the crew in that the chorus did leave me wanting more, but I think overall the song was headed in a really cool direction in the fact that it's got the tropical house sound to it that I feel like we left back in 2018, which I'm here for it. I'm here to come back tropical house, a little bit of Moonbathon, and it does have a little bit of the arena EDM feel to it, where I really wish they'd just like double down into it, especially during the bridge with Hustle, Eve, Olivia, Go On, and Chu, kind of in that section where it's very magical. It's just like you're right there. It's building up to like this amazing like arena house feel, but then it goes back into kind of the tone down shift is kind of how Warren put it. What did you think about the crew's discussion this week about the song?
I think I did agree with what Doug said was that last chorus, I think where like Heejin was having her little vocal moment there and like the sound there, where it wasn't simply like the that backing track with the flip that last chorus, if that was the chorus throughout the song for me, I think it would have been a little better. I do kind of agree that there's a bit of a disconnect with the chorus for me, honestly. But the verses were, though, I'm with the crew. The verses were very, very beautiful verses though. Yeah, and like at the same time though, it's like the chorus is still great. That backing track I love that backing track, honestly. You know, it's so pleasant to hear. It's so pleasant on the ears.
Yeah, incredibly pleasant. And I'm kind of in the middle, right? Where I think, like you said, on the technical aspect of how the song was put together, there's definitely a character to this song, right? Where you're being transported into this airy state of effervescence, right? But then some of the execution points, kind of the flip that it's like, oh, I need a little bit more. I need a little more juice, you know. I need that punch to really put it over the top, because I think it may be a little too similar throughout the entire song, where it's just completely like in this like airy nature where you're kind of floating without like a place to station yourself. I don't know where this metaphor is going, but I hope it makes sense. And I think that's where it kind of falls a little short for me. But overall, I think I love the way it's all put together. The girls are styled incredibly. Shout out to picnic blanket dresses. Very similar to Oompa Loompa. I think we'll call them back again. But I think we're far enough from Oompa Loompa to be like, that's just a style of dress at this point, right? Yeah. And then the big flowy white dresses. Yeah.
Styling was undeniably great. You know, there's no question about that. All of them look amazing.
Yeah. It's kind of.
And also, yeah, I will say, I did like Eve's red hair though. Honestly, I liked it. I think she looks gorgeous. Honestly.
All right, so I'm in a spot here. So Doug just in general doesn't like red hair, which, okay, fine, I get it. Gingers, you know, no holes, understandable. Yeah, shout out to South Park. I read the crew questions, guys. Come on, kids, let's get it together. South Park is a show that has existed for a long time. Watch it; it'll change your life. But I understand that it's a bit loud, but also I have a bias in that she is my bias. She is my favorite member of LOONA, she is probably one of my favorite like K-pop people in all of K-pop. So it's like, honestly, I don't really like it. I might have a problem with it, but I'm never gonna admit it. You know, I'm like there. So like it may not work for me completely, but I'm always gonna say she's amazing, regardless. So that's where I'm at with it.
I mean, also, I mean, just Eve, like, and Tell Me Now, her moment there, so iconic, so amazing, honestly. And I'm like, they really did have a great run on Queendom. It was so good. Like, they could have won. Like, quite frankly, if they weren't sick week one, they would have won. I think that's kind of like the truth here at this point.
Oh. Yeah, it's a lot of great momentum for LOONA.
Hear that.
All right, so let's get into this album. Again, it's going into the summer themes of it. I'm just gonna address it here and say Pose kind of feels out of place. I feel like I get that they have the song, they gotta put it somewhere, but considering the other songs on this album, it's a very different genre than the rest of the album.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, and I think just because they released it on Queendom doesn't have to mean it has to be on this album. But there's like, I mean, Kep1er didn't put the girls on their album. Like, it could just be its own standalone thing. Because here's the thing, Pose is such a good song, and I will say, like, just because for me, like, it doesn't fit the album, but it is my favorite song on this album. It was such a cool performance. It's such a cool song, honestly, and it really does show that like they can do like light, like Pixie Fairy concept, and they can be like very, very like sultry, like, I mean, sexy people, like it's so like for me, Pose, great song, doesn't belong to the album, but still great song.
Well, let me ask you this then. So we've had kind of a pretty long history of LOONA music now at this point, right? Everything from the pre-release back in 2017, gosh. And they did follow a certain type of genre that to me kind of felt like in this electronica R&B, very kind of clean sound up until they went to like this trilogy of Girl Crush. And I feel like they executed that well enough, but it was still a departure from what I knew about LOONA. Where do you stand? What's your preference in kind of the type of music you would like LOONA to stick with as far as kind of being their character? Or are you good with them kind of going back and forth between Bright and Girl Crush?
I think if I'm being perfectly honest, my favorite song from them is Fate the Town. Like, what a good song, honestly. I think I can't remember what they talked about on the show, and I believe that it wasn't the most positive review from the crew, but it's still a really, really good song. And I will say, like, I don't have the most knowledge of LOONA's discography, only just because they kind of started and I wasn't there, So like I know Paint the Town and I know So What because of Hyorin, and like those are both amazing songs, I think. So like, I think for me, I like LOONA with the Girl Crush concept personally. But it doesn't take away from this comeback though, and like they're also insanely talented. This is still a good performance.
Oh man, I love hearing it, to be honest, because it's a different experience than I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, I think it's a different experience than what's typically said about LOONA, right? I feel like a lot of people draw back on kind of the nostalgia of where LOONA used to be or where they were, as opposed to kind of the recent history of LOONA. So you kind of hitting on the last three songs of kind of the trilogy of Girl Crush kind of works. And the fact that this album can flip that and then have Pose on it, it kind of says like, okay, here are two sounds that we've done recently. Let's test it out and kind of see which direction we'll move forward. I feel like that's kind of the logic behind it. But I will say just overall, the songs that were put on this album, high quality, like very, very well refined in that sense. Let's get into some of the other songs. So let's get into Need You. All right. What did you think about Need You? So to me, this is kind of the throwback into the progressive EDM electronica that I was very used to. I'm going to just say it right here. Eve and her 2 songs with New and D1 are my favorite of all of LOONA. I am that person. Yes, guys, I am the big simp. And this kind of evokes that very similar feel to me. But then also very similar to Plus Plus and XX. Those 2 albums with Butterfly and Hi Hi. So what did you think about kind of this trip down memory lane with LOONA from years past with Need You?
I gotta be honest and say, like, I don't remember the song, honestly. I'm pretty sure I liked it at the moment. I can't remember what it was about, though.
No worries. I'll just say kind of closing this song. So it does very much evoke the 2017-2019 run of LOONA, where they were doing a lot of the pre-releases and lead up into the proper debut. And then I think the standout for me in this song is a lot of the harmonies. So kind of go back and seeing how it's put together. Like you said, the versatility of LOONA. I think what gets lost in a lot of just them as performers is the fact that they are also very, very good singers. Good to great singers. And they really
There's a lot of good singers in this group.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 3 main vocalists, right? I think.
Yeah.
There's like Chu, Kim Lip, and somebody else. I don't know everybody in this group, unfortunately.
No worries. Hustle definitely has a lot of strength in this group as well.
Hustle's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there was Pose. Let's get into Pale Blue Dot. So I want to set this up a little bit, and I want to shout out LOONA or Blockberry or whoever decided creatively for this song. So the title is a reference to the book by the same title, Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan. If you don't know Carl Sagan, guys, he's amazing. So he's an astrophysicist, astronomer, cosmologist, science communicator, one of the most brilliant minds and writers in science today, in history. He's passed away. I think he's a very influential person as far as academia and our understanding of the cosmos and the greater universe. And there is a section in the book that is very well known that he's voiced over, and it's put on YouTube, essentially talking about Voyager 1, the satellite, back in February 14th, 1990, looking back at the Earth and taking a photo, and the image he describes as the pale blue dot. And he reflects on the fact that the scope and scale and wonderment of our planet in this vast cosmos is just a small piece of what everything else means, the grand meaning of it all. And I feel like the fact that LOONA is inspired by that is very heartwarming. What did you think about this song in general and kind of the message of that title with respect to LOONA?
That's such a deep story. Oh my god. I had no idea about that, honestly. That is so cool. I think what really stuck out to me about this song was really just the vocals. I feel like there was some very, very full vocals in the song that I really appreciated, just because it was kind of not there in the title track. I think that's really what sort of stood out the most to me.
Yeah, there are a lot of great flourishes in this song. Everything combined with the vocals, like you said, but I think there's some heavy drums within the chorus that kind of make it epic. And really, it's very uplifting. The overall message for this song and kind of lyrically is helping one another. And life is hard. So what does the message of coexisting and being good people to each other mean to LOONA? And I feel like they've expressed that well, not only with the lyrics, but kind of the hopefulness of this song, right? It's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of power to it, right? So I'm all here for a song like this. And again, it kind of evokes a lot of OG LOONA vibes for me. So just to kind of close out this song, what are your thoughts of just LOONA leaning into kind of being hopeful and kind of having that message for K-pop fans and everyone?
I mean, I think it's pretty great, honestly. I mean, like they are so good at delivering this message, honestly, that like it works for me really well. It's such like I think overall, I'm so sorry, I don't remember like most of the songs in this album. I know that I like them. I just can't remember them in detail. But I would say like it's this album as a whole, it was really fun to listen to, honestly. And like I I love this group, honestly. Like, they're so good, and this music is no exception.
Yeah, I think it's a really well comprised album of songs that make a lot of sense. It's telling a story. I would say they do. I mean, LOONA's all about lore, and they did mention that this album is separate from lore. I will be honest, I am not a lore person. I'm a big LOONA fan without being a big fan of the lore, to be honest. But I do like storytelling in general as far as what the music represents. What are the messages and bigger themes to connect with people? And I feel like this album, establishes itself as a summer album, but also has a lot of meaning towards other people. Also wrapping it up with the song, with the last song, Playback. This is a love letter to Orbits, and it's a fan song. A lot of references to the word orbit is used in the song, but definitely a reference to the fans who have been with them. It's got a very love groove R&B feel to it, but again, it's really more of a thank you for kind of just being there and picking each other up. What do you feel about K-pop groups in general having this strong bond and gratitude towards their fans? K-pop groups have fandom names, and it's almost like that fandom name is a character, is a compilation of everyone who loves and supports them. But how does that make you feel when a group really just takes the time and effort to really thank and show gratitude towards the fans that have supported them all this time?
I mean, that's just beautiful, honestly. I will say, like, I definitely remember really liking the song when I listened to it, honestly. Like, it's definitely like one of my top songs in this album for sure. And I think, sort of going back, I will say, like, one of like my favorite songs to listen to, generally speaking, is "Thank You" by Brave Girls. Honestly, it's such a good song. I don't know, like, I feel like there's this kind of special closeness that some fans feel to like certain groups, honestly, and I feel like for me, I kind of feel that was like a group like Brave Girls, because like I've seen them back in like 2011, many years ago, and like, for them to like persist up until now, like that to me is like so like heartwarming, and then like to get like a really good song that sort of like thanks the fans and like makes the fans feel appreciated for like the work and the money and whatever else they did to support the group, the post and trying to like create conversations. Like, I love that overall. That's it.
Yeah, it's that unique quality of K-pop, right, where there is a back and forth, right? There's a symbiosis in a lot of ways, right, where as fans, we want to support, we want to be there. We see the journey in a lot of ways, considering how media has evolved, and all the vlog channels that you get to see of them as trainees, and then their first couple of years, to just how the fan interactions are so meaningful to K-pop groups. I think it's a very unique spot for us as fans, and I think it's just really cool that LOONA really, really leans into it, and I think does a really nice job of including everyone in kind of the story and the journey, right? And it's kind of cool that concerts are back, and we get to see them live and in real life. So moving into some closing thoughts, Bryan, are there any concerts, any live shows that you will be attending in the next few months as K-pop starts to tour? All these groups are coming back to the United States. Any shows that you're looking forward to?
Absolutely. So I'm going to be going to 17 in August. This will be like my second concert I've ever been to in like my entire life, really. I went to twice a few months ago, and I had like such a little story time, a little debacle when I went there, because the first concert, I didn't read the rules and regulations. So I brought a full-size backpack and I was refused. And I took the BART to get there. So I didn't have a car. So I was so sad when that happened, because I was like, like I love twice, and like, but I just have, I don't want to get my backpack thrown away, it's a nice backpack, like, so I just got to go home, but I called home, and like one of my aunts picked up, and she was like, "No, we can just come there in like 40 some minutes if the concert's still going." So they came, they took my backpack, and then I was able to go in, and then like it was such a great experience, honestly. You know, like there's some really like I don't really know how to say it honestly, but like you're breathing the same air as them a little bit, you know? It's like they were just like right there in that same room, and like the feeling there is like it was quite a magical experience, honestly. You know, that's really like all I can say. And obviously Twice, you know, so good. The music is so great, honestly. So like I had such a great time.
Yeah, no, it's I'm glad that you were able to go see them. You were able to get in after the situation with your backpack. So shout out to your aunt for driving across the bridge to come get you. No,
Yes.
it's amazing to be back in live at a live show, right? Because it's a shared experience, not just with the group that you're there to see, but with everyone, because everyone is experiencing it at the same time, essentially the same way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you say what you will about different seats, but I would say like you make the experience as fun as and enjoyable as you yourself want it to be, right? I said that in so many words, but essentially like if you are in the top nosebleed section, but you are having the time of your life, I think that is perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Relative to anyone else, because ultimately it's how you experience it, right? And I think to me it's always been about live music, right? I mean there's just a different feel, you know, energy in the sense of like the metaphorical energy of, you know, how you emotionally respond to something, but energy in the sense of, yeah, no, these speakers are like in your face, like they're bouncing sound waves into your body, so that is literal energy. So to me it's like there is a sense, like a tactile sense of just being at a concert, whether that's an arena or a smaller show, that it can't replace, you know. And it's one of those experiences that, you know, makes kind of living just far more special. And that's a really dramatic way to put it, but I mean, it's what kind of the human condition is all about, right? It's all these shared experiences you have with other people. So yeah, no, it's beautiful. Any shows, so aside from 17, anything else coming up for you?
I know that there's a Brave Girls concert in SF that's coming up in July, but we'll see how it goes, because like I spent a lot of money on 17. So like maybe, you know, like maybe not this time, but if they come back, definitely, you know. But so far it's gonna be 17 for concerts. I'm taking actually a family friend who just graduated from high school. He's a fan of 17, and I'm like, this is your grad gift, dude. He was like, yes. So like, you know, it's gonna be such a fun time, you know, because just overall, I mean, like, just because, I mean, just news-wise, I'm not sure, because it's been a while since 17 has been in K-pop, and you know, like this, I think, and some of them are going through contract negotiations. So like, who's to say like this isn't the last time that we're gonna see them all together like this, you know? So like, while they're here, you know, like, and while we can enjoy this experience, like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I'm very, I don't even know what just heartwarmed that you are bringing a family friend to experience this with them, and as a gift, right? Because, you know, high school has been really interesting the past 2 years with the pandemic and Zoom classrooms, and just like my teenage years are at home. It's like I could not imagine, because there is a growing pains developmental process just being a teenager at school, and that's just something that was taken away from the pandemic, because of the pandemic. So no, shout out to you for kind of being responsive and doing good work, and just, you know, helping someone experience life a little bit more full. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to be fighting the internet lines of KCON on Monday for KCON LA. There's a couple of us on the server who are just trying to coordinate. Luke Daniels, if you see his name around, he's also part of the Gochu Gang. Reach, He's in LA, so we're going to try to get the general admission floor seats.
Wow.
It costs some money, but I would say not any more than like a really good set of seats at like ESPA coming up
Right.
at the YouTube theater, right? So I think to see all of those acts, all those artists, I think it's definitely worth it. But the only thing is, Luke brought it to my attention that because the lineup is so stacked, because there are a lot of amazing girl groups, it's going to be very hard. So we hope that it doesn't sell out, and that we I just want to get the one ticket. Come on, please, just, I'll put up the money. It's fine. But that is the one thing I'm looking forward to in August. So August 19th is when that's happening. Yeah. Bryan, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's an amazing time talking to you. I like to close things out by asking my guests, what are some hopes and words of wisdom you have for the Soju Talk Nation?
We don't have a lot of time on this earth, so just live honestly and live authentically.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Thank you so much. No, that was an excellent way to end. All right. Thank you again, Bryan. This is a great conversation. I really appreciate you coming on and getting to know you a little bit more. I think it goes a long way just to kind of put faces and voices together with usernames on the server. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on.
I had such a fun time here today, honestly. I've never done a podcast before in my entire life, so this is like such a fun. What a great experience, honestly. Thank you, Anton, for having me.
Of course. No, it's a pleasure, and it's very meaningful to me that I get to talk to brand new people and make it more meaningful. This K-pop experience that we're all living through. All right, signing out. Thank you everyone for listening to the Soju Sessions on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and continue the conversation on the Soju Talk K-pop podcast Discord. For Bryan, I'm Crispy, and this has been the Soju Sessions.